Hi, I'm Bob Murray, Vice President of Economic Affairs for McGraw-Hill Construction. I'm here to introduce the Dodge Momentum Index, a new leading indicator of construction activity. More specifically, the Dodge Momentum Index serves as a leading indicator for construction spending on non-residential buildings, namely commercial building, which includes office, retail, and lodging, and institutional building, which includes education, healthcare, public, amusement, and religious buildings. Now, as we're well aware, the non-residential building sector has been hit hard in recent years. The construction spending numbers show that non-residential building fell by more than 35% from its 2008 peak through 2011. The peak-to-trough decline was particularly steep for commercial building, down 55%, while the institutional categories were also down a still substantial 20%. Now, it's true that a large share of the non-residential building downturn took place during 2009 and 2010, but activity still continued to weaken during 2011. Which brings us to the question, when is construction spending for non-residential building finally going to reach bottom and begin to show some upward movement? To provide some insight on what the future direction of non-residential building will be, we turn to our extensive Dodge database and in particular construction projects at the planning stage as first reported. We examined 10 years worth of data for such projects and created an index which showed how the volume of projects at the planning stage moved from month to month and year to year. This index, which we call the Dodge Momentum Index, differs from other measures of future construction activity in that it's based on actual construction projects as opposed to survey results. Significantly, we found that there was a strong correlation with the Dodge Momentum Index and the pattern of construction spending for non-residential buildings 12 months ahead. For example, when the Momentum Index began to head downward in early 2008, it preceded the sharp downturn for construction spending that took place during 2009. Significantly, the correlation coefficient for the Dodge Momentum Index shifted 12 months ahead, and non-residential building was a particularly strong plus 0.91. A reading of 1 denotes a perfect positive correlation, while 0 would denote no correlation. Now, it's not surprising that there would be some correlation between the construction projects at the planning stage and construction spending several months ahead. What was surprising is that the correlation was so strong at plus 0.91, and again, this was for the 12-month lead time showed by the Dodge Momentum Index relative to construction spending. So, what about recent trends? The Dodge Momentum Index bottomed out in July 2011, and since then it's trended upward, rising in all but 2 months through April of 2012. This suggests that construction spending for non-residential building should be in the process of bottoming out this year, with signs of stronger activity beginning to take hold during the second half of 2012. Now, the components of the Dodge Momentum Index indicate that the early stage of recovery will be led by the commercial structure types, while the institutional structure types will be slower to make the turn. This is one more piece of evidence that the worst of the decline for non-residential building is now over. And I might add, the gradual upward movement by the Dodge Momentum Index over the past year indicates that the recovery for non-residential construction spending will also be gradual in its early stages. Of course, there are numerous indicators and statistics that one can turn to in trying to determine what lies ahead. The strong correlation between the Dodge Momentum Index and non-residential building, with the index leading construction spending by a full year, means that the Dodge Momentum Index should prove to be a very useful tool in predicting the future direction of the construction industry.